At least not that painful. Still, I would have liked it to announce that it is receiving data, I have to say. Right then, so shall we just turn on the film segment? I don't know how long that is. If we look, how long is that? Here, let's see, that movie. Only 11 minutes. Okay, well, show it a few times, I guess. And that'll be that. Okay, so now how on earth do I play this game? Keep an eye on stream chat and all such things at the same time. It's a tricky one. Oh, should I do it on this side? Slightly odd. Slightly odd. Gah! Not like that either. Why can't I scroll this over to the right? Nothing's just being particularly nice to me. The YouTube interface. Bother. Right, she. I had not really just barely started with her, hadn't I? Okay, so let's see if someone joins us as I prepare to go adventuring here. I am. Sound and all such things are on, right? It would seem so. It would seem so. Right, we're off to the market, I suppose. Wait. Lead market. What kind of character am I? I've got. I have 5 levels in botany, 5 in geology, and 4 in illusionism. So I'm a scientist, obviously. Go science. Yes. Right. A few hundred rations. Let's go for 300 to start with, and pickaxe, since we're geologists. 5 pickaxes, 5 tents, I think. And then we will need. I do need weapons and armor. Or arcane emporium. I'll go for a health stone, I believe. I'll make a deep dent in my finances. Just buy some charges there. I can afford 2 more of those. Leave and I don't know, some more rations. 20 rations, right. Saving. We're off to the mountains, which should be promising. Harsh weather. Oh, we should certainly be able to make our way out of that intact. I mean, slightly better. Took a toll on us, but still, I'm here. So you can see my stats up there. Can you see this mouse pointer? Let's just see if it shows up on stream. Please do. Oh, wait, I'm just looking at the stream to see whether. Oh yes, it does. Right. So of course here are my stats, my various. See my health. You start with 100. That's what I had, and that bad weather took me down to 60, even though I did find quite good shelter and I had a tent. Anyway, we're going mining. Pressing T, and wow, that's a lot of money. You can see I had 0 cash, and now it's 2,100. Oh, my rations are dwindling. It's 75 rations to dig. You see, mining can get you lots of money, but it's also expensive with regards to rations. Is it meaningful to do one more here? Oh, that's a tough choice. Let's see now. That's 900 rations. Go to the market. If I buy 100, that's 500. Yes, okay, so it was worth it. I earned 400 rations on that last one. No, 400 gold. Actually, a bit more. Actually, a bit more, but it was still expensive. So we need to buy more rations, obviously. Like 300 more after that. Now we can buy some more pickaxes, some more tents. It's advantageous to have over 10 tents, and if you can, it's good to have over 20, but we're not quite there yet. Ooh, we could buy weapons and armor. I'll buy a shield, I believe, for 1,000. Yep. Let's see now if this is the debugged version or the latest version. I'll try and buy another pickaxe. If we're unlucky, our shield will disappear. But it didn't. Good. Leaving. Okay. Oh, we're much better equipped now. The shield won't help us against bad weather, but it will certainly help against any kind of enemy. Such as these, for example. Unfortunately, I'm neither a fighter nor a runner, so I have no real advantage here. You can see it says actions and moves, so I'm this character in the middle. These are all ferocious beasts who want to eat me. If you are if you have some levels in fighting or running, more than 3, you can get extra moves. You can get a maximum of 4 moves and 4 actions. It works like this, that every round you take 1 action and make 1 move. Well, first you take all your actions and then you make all your moves, and then the beasts will move and attack if they're close enough. But I only have 1 action and 1 move, so sort of stumped. Throw rations, yes. So we have some. This graphic here represents our rations. I have to increase how many I want to throw. I don't want to throw that many. Actually, I just want to throw 1. I want to just lure these away. Like so, while I move this way. If you throw rations, you see, the beast will go for them rather than you. Now I have to throw more because I could throw 1 there because it was just about luring them away. But as soon as they're in reach of both the rations and you, they'll prioritize eating the rations. But as soon as the rations are gone, they'll start chewing on you. So I'll throw 30 there. Every beast takes 5. So you can see that went from 30 to 10. The 10 there indicates how many rations are left. All of these took 1 bite each, but they didn't take any bites out of me, and that's what's important. I'm going to throw a few more here. That should do it. Yep. Another 10 here. Moving. Oops. Just barely squeaking along here. There. Got out of that one. I'll make camp here just to recuperate some health. You can do that. I did. Went from 75 to 91. I'm not a physician, so I'm not very efficient at healing myself. The thing is, we're surrounded by mountains here, and that's a good thing because I'm a geologist, or my character is a geologist, and being a geologist, you can dig for precious minerals anywhere, but you're most likely to find them in the mountains. We have so many mountains here. We basically emptied this mountain of minerals. I think I'll just try this one here. And we're getting into some dangerous weather. I'll make camp. Just move on to the left here, I think. That should increase our... Actually, this should be even better. It was the same. Oh, my health's down to 40. But I'll start by digging for gold and hope I find some, because I'm pretty rough state. You see, this character there, she's a Bartron, which is a kind of amphibious creature. They are large, kind of strong, naturally, and especially they're very intelligent, but they're not very good at moving on land compared to the others. So which is reflected in her requiring a lot of rations. She eats a lot too. Or rather, she moves slowly, and so she will, every move takes more time for her, and therefore she'll spend more rations. Anyway, we'll start by digging, because by just digging, every time you spend time, you also recuperate a little bit. That's a bit of money, sure, but it's not enough. That will not see us through. Oh, you see, my health is 43, but that's not so bad. I can recuperate by resting, but my rations are 164, and I won't. I need some to get back home. Obviously, it's just 2 steps, not so far, but and it's just plains. This here is a plain, and they're easily traveled. I can use my health stone, can't I? Yes, I can. I'll do that to recuperate, so I don't need to... I don't need to use rations to heal. I can use that. A good thing about being very intelligent, the maximum intelligence is 20. All of these sort of base stats like intelligence, creativity, strength, flexibility, endurance, they max out at 20, and I have 18. That means I get... My effect is multiplied. So I say here, charge. I have 6 charges. I use 2 of those. That's multiplied by 18 to see what the effect is. In this case, it means I will recuperate 36 points of health. I will actually use 3, and that way I will get very close to recuperating all of my health. As you can see, at the expense of no rations. Those health stones are expensive, but at the moment I'd rather not use rations. I think I should try and dig for a bit more minerals, if I can. Oh, here's a bandit. Quite a strong one too. Now I do have quite a bit of... I'm an illusionist, you see, and that means I'm tricky. And I'm intelligent and I'm creative, so I could probably trick them into thinking I have less cash than I do. If I make the choice give gold here, that means that you will, do what the robber wants you to and give them the gold, or surrender your belongings. But the more intelligent you are and creative, I think, and also if you're better at illusionism, then you can fool them into believing that you only have a little bit. So let's see how much I lose if I choose number 1 here. I think this is like medium level. This is like smack dab in the middle. There are 9 levels of robbers, right? And I think this is it'll be 5 then. So let's see here. Yeah, I lose 17. That's nothing. Had I tried to run, I would have probably lost more. Had I not been so intelligent and so good at illusionism, you can see I have 4 levels in it there, I would have probably lost all of it. Maybe even some of my rations. Well, I still don't have much money. And out of these, I've dug up all the minerals here, or most of them. You say you get diminishing returns all the time, so you can tell. You will always get less than you got before. At least in most cases, unless you paused between 2 digs and leveled up your geology a lot, then you might get more the second time, but that's almost impossible. You need a lot of wisdom to level up significantly. So I've taken what is here, and once they don't refill until at all. You'll have to go to the next map for there to be refilled, or have a chance for them to have a chance to be refilled. It's randomly generated. Well, we're taking this, and this one is also relatively close. So I'll chance it and go there, I think. Although I'm running dangerously low. I could probably walk. I might be able to dig twice here. But let's first look for shelter. That should be good enough. Decent. You see, I lost some rations too. Oh dear. Well, I'll have to dig here and try to not die. Should I use my health stone immediately? I think so. Just use the one charge now. And we'll dig. Oh, I found lots of money. Good. Now you see I have 5 rations left. That's not enough to get back to town, but you don't die immediately from having no rations. Instead, you start to consume, you start to lose health, the same amount of health as the amount of rations you would have consumed in a time span. Happily, we're walking over plains to get back, and we're only taking 2 steps. And I can use my health stone to get back health. So let's move once. You see, now my rations went to 0 and my health dropped to 78. This is probably good. This exotic plant, it might be poisonous. It probably is. It probably is poisonous. But I'm also a botanist, which means I'll take less damage, or I'll get less poison than anyone else would. So I'm going to pick it without examining it. You can only I'm so close to town as well, you know, because poison prevents you from regaining health, except by magic. So I can use my health stone to regain health and also reduce the poison level. See, oh, we didn't get poisoned at all. This is almost too good to be true. Moving into town, you see I lose a bit more health for that step, although it is a minimal amount. This really couldn't have worked out better. And as soon as I enter the market, I will sell these exotic plants I picked and get that amount of money. So let's do that. And I have 4,000, almost as much as I started with. That's amazing. And I still have, you know, I have more equipment than I started with, so I'm definitely gaining here. The one thing is that I'll buy some rations, because we definitely need those. The one thing we have definitely lost is now there are really no minerals close to town. Well, reasonably close, but we have to walk through mountains to get to them. It's going to be tougher. Hopefully we'll find a village, or maybe on the other side of the mountains. I'll talk more about villages in a second. Let's see, what else do I need? I might as well buy a few pickaxes, because that's how I'm going to get money. Most likely anyway. I want to buy a map. It could be useful, but let's see if there's anything else we want. I mean, those health stone charges, they are so useful though. You know what? Let's buy a map. And then we'll buy some rations for the rest of that money. And we'll leave the market. Yes, okay. I'm saving that game state. You always die. When you die, it's permadeath. Because as soon as your health reaches 0 or less, the game saves. So it will save your corpse, basically. You can still load every player, but if you load a dead player, you'll just get into the you will be taken to the screen where you died. So it's not very useful. I'm so sorry. You can see there. So you can see there's a village over here. I can see everything now because I have a map. Now the game world is 4 times as big as this. We're basically in the top left square out of 4. And our ultimate goal for the first level, or for every level, is the lower right corner. You always start in the top left in one town. You can see I'm standing in front of a town. And you end up, and your goal is now the other town at the bottom right. And then there are 4 villages, one in each quadrant. But their precise position within the quadrant is random. They can be anywhere except they cannot be in any of the tiles immediately adjacent to the town, but they can be in any other of these. So in the quadrant over here and down here, where there are no towns, they can be anywhere. They can all be gathered in the middle. They aren't. We have one here now. So what I'll do is I'll go down here, and then I'll probably walk through these two mountains, trying to mine them and get to this village. Because the village offers nearly all the services that the town does. Not quite, but nearly. And that's a good... what do you call it? Partial goal. Actually, I'll heal up here. I'll use my health stone, because if I'm assaulted, I might not... I want to at least be at almost full health, so I can survive. So off we go. More plants. Now, if they are very poisonous, now we're at the first level, so they won't be very poisonous. And I'm a decent geologist, which means that reduces, even if they are quite poisonous, I will not get as poisoned. The thing is, though, you can only heal by magic. That can be achieved at the shrines. You see that SH here says that means that there are shrines in the town and the village. I can heal there by offering food rations. I can also heal by using my health stone, although that's very expensive. It's better to heal at the shrines. There are other shrines as well, most likely. They're also randomly put out into the world, but you can't see them yet. I can buy another map which has more detail on it. I can actually buy 3 more levels of maps. They are more expensive for each level, but they give more information. The next level will tell me where all the shrines are. I'm actually probably going to lower the price for maps a bit, because it's a bit ludicrous, but they're very useful. The thing is, if I pick it up now and I get very poisoned, it would mean it would be better for me to walk back to town. I think it would be a win overall, at any rate. Yeah, you see. So you can see the plants, how many I have. That doesn't really matter how many you have, although it was going to at one point. The value here, and then the poison level, which is 9. It's quite high. That means every step I take, I'm going to lose 9 health. I can't heal by normal means. I can only heal by health, by magic. I can, with my health stone, which has 7 charges, I can only heal 7 of those. So I can reduce this poison level from 9 to 2, but I'll still take damage. I definitely need to go back to town and sell that plant and buy some more rations. Is there anything else I would like to buy? Well, I'll buy a few more healthstone charges. They're so useful. Once I have a bit more money, I'll probably buy some offensive magic too, or more defensive one. You can buy another one which is offensive, one that it creates a shield around you. Anyway, visit local shrine. Here I can offer some rations. I can also steal rations from the shrine, but you know, if you're in dire need, that's a good idea. That can be your way to salvation. Although it's quite dangerous, you'll probably get smote by the spirit of the shrine, or smitten. Sorry. Which will take away a lot of your health. But it's a last resort. Anyway, we'll be making an offering, and you have, for every 10 rations you offer, it heals you a certain amount. Not very much. Now, actually, I should maybe make this more clear. It says 7 there. That means that he will heal 7 poison. So 90 rations will heal 9 poison. But it will also heal 45 health. It will get half the health of what you're offering. So I'll get to full health. You cannot get over 100. And I'll get rid of all that poisoning. I'll save again. There's no reason not to save. It's just if the game crashes or anything, it's good to have saved. On we go. Oh dear. Shit. well, I'll just have to throw rations and lots of it. I should... In this case, it's best for me to stand on the rations. I got away with quite a lot of rations left and all of my health. That's good. I think I really need some offensive magic there. I do. Anyway. Ooh, another plant. Now you see we're in a position here where we probably don't want to walk back. But we have plenty of healthstone charges, so I'll chance it and pick it. Same poison level. Bugger me. I'll use my healthstone here. Because I don't want to walk back. Now 9 charges. Yes, so 10 charges. Every charge is 150 gold. So that's 1,500, and the plant is worth 2,600. So we still earn more than 1,000, like 1,200. 1,250, right? I think I'm right in saying. So that's a good deal. Yeah, we're sort of low on charges now. Moving on. Another one. Dare we chance it? It's a very good trade. I could actually, if I pick this one, it's good. I could just head on down to the forest. I'll chance it and pick it. Oh, no poison. That's a pure gift then. Anyway, let's mine. And I found boatloads of money. Once, twice. That's it. I won't stay. The return will diminish. So you see I went from under 100 to this in 2 goes, but it takes a lot to mine. Moving on. This is not as bad as the last one, because these asshats will be running the other way. Oops. Did this one take a chunk out of me? Maybe. I'm not sure what I had. How much health I had just now. I'll throw some there. Oh dear. Oh, they're actually eating me. That's better. There we are. I took a bit of health, so you know, the thing is, it's not that it's necessarily difficult to get out of those situations if you have lots of food, but it will take so much of your food, and if you're not careful, you know, you might actually get quite badly hurt even if you have a lot of food, and it will deplete your food levels. If you're low on food, it's going to get really tricky. So eventually, you want to decrease, you know, the amount of damage you take by getting more armor. For example, I bought a shield because that's quite cheap. That's one of the 2 cheapest forms of armor you can buy. And when you upgrade later, you don't lose it. All other armor is body armor, so you buy another level, you remove the one you had. There's 3 levels of armor, but the shield is separate, so you always carry it. Next armor I buy will be on top of the shield, so to speak. Not on top, but you know, it will add up with the shield. Anyway, let's mine again. Ah, not so bad. Oh, not so good, I mean, but it was worth mining once, I'd say. Going into town here to sell our flowers. And now we have so much cash, almost 8,000. I shall. Let's see. Buy some more rations, because that's important. Hiking equipment. I'll buy a few more pickaxes. Don't think I need another tent. Shall I buy another map? I think I will. Might get very useful. I could afford next level map. Question, do I want that? Is it what's most... Because this one, let me show you. Will show us, you can see that I also see SH here, or standing for shrine. at these two places, and I can actually scroll around freely on the map and plan my moves. Just wasn't really meaningful before now. So you see in this quadrant, the village is up to the left. Down here, it's down to the right, and here, oh, those two are next to each other, and that's our end goal for the first level. We'll get a small monetary reward when we get to the town, which will increase with every level. You get more for getting to the end. It's at the first it's just like 2,000. I think it's 1,000. Or it's just corresponds to the level you're getting to multiplied by 1,000. Yeah, I think so. Basically, so I get to level 2, hence I get 2,000. Get level 3, get 3,000. So it gets more significant as you move on, but I guess for a while it will be significant, and then it will be less significant because the game gets more difficult with each level. Everything does more damage, you see. That's the way it gets more difficult. So I think you'll end up spending a lot of money on just like spells and food. Especially spells. That'll probably be the last thing. Before the game becomes impossible to play, I think spells is the last thing that will keep you alive. Although I'm planning to put in an end. Like, I guess I'll try to let it be like, if you get to level 10 or level 15, something like that, you should be declared winner, I think. Sorry again. Anyway, what's relevant for us right now? I have quite a bit of cash. Yes, so let's go back to the market. I think I want to buy a fire ring as well. And so I'll buy some fire ring charges. And some healthstone charges. Which one's best? Oh, I bought fire ring. Never mind. That's fine. And some more rations, you know. Better that than they're taking. So the fire ring will actually allow me to be offensive. I could be before. I think I could use like a melee attack before, but it would be so weak. Anyway, the next level of map, if I buy it, will show me mineral deposits for half the map. Every second tile, actually. So it'll be like a what do you call that? A Scotch pattern. And then if you buy the last level of map, that will show you mineral deposits for all of them. That can be very useful to plan your route and get the most out of it. So that because it's very important to get money, as you can see, to get supplies, basically level your character up by adding armor and then weapons. Now my character's not a fighter to an extent, but might be useful to have for example, a bow later on. I should level up my fighting or running skill to some extent to get more actions and moves vis-a-vis the beasts. But I need at least Wisdom 15 to level up to the first. I think I might even need 40. I'm not sure. Wisdom, you get like another level point for every 20 wisdom, but you get wisdom every time you make a step in the overworld. Did I save? I'll save again. Thing though, the first map costs 800, and then every level of map, there are four in all, costs 800 more than the last. So next one is 1600, next one after that is 2400, and the last one is 3200. I think I'll lower it to like 1000. So there will be 500, 1000, 1500, 2000. That's much more reasonable. It's still going to be a hefty investment. But I guess I was sort of counting on you getting rich after a while. Yeah, so maybe it's not such an unreasonable thing to expect. Well, Now, question, should I go for the... No, I shouldn't go for the end yet, but maybe I should go for the next village. We're not going for that one. That would be very counterproductive. Going down here seems like a good idea, although it's quite far. Through mountain. It's like mountain or desert. Desert is murder on most species, and mine is amphibious. I'm meaning it belongs in the water, specifically the ocean. So that's not good at all. Mountains are slightly better. Still not a good option though. I think we have no choice. We have lots of... And maybe we'll try and find a bit more here and minerals and just get a few more charges for our maps and stuff. Oh, plant, yeah, pick that. It was worth nearly nothing, but also not poisonous. So. By the way, the poison level actually increases the worth. Every plant has two stats. One is rarity and one is poison level. Both of them, the rarer and the more poisonous, the more valuable. Anywho, let's mine here. Oh, that's decent. Let's go twice there. Should we just mine all these three? Another plant. Hey, second one without any... Well, that I didn't get poisoned by. This is why it's good to be a botanist. I'm a botanist and geologist. That means I'm good at this stuff, which earns me money. And I've been very lucky with my encounters so far. That I haven't had many battles. Especially tough ones, because, you know, if you meet a tough robber and you're not either skilled at fighting, running, or tricking them, you know, at their level, then they're just going to take all your money. And if you don't have enough money, they also take your food. So you can get really screwed there. Hey, wow, I'm really getting lots of money. Now I have to take at least 2 steps to get back to town, and there's, you know, it's always a risk I'll run into robbers. The good thing about plants is that robbers don't take your plants, so you always have that. That's a kind of a backup. That's a positive thing about plants, except for, you know, you not having to spend any rations to obtain them. Let's go here to dangerous weather. That should be okay. Could be better, but I'm right next to town, so... Oh, that was almost nothing. Was it? No, it was something. Back to town. Buying some rations. Now let's see. I'll buy some armor. Buy light armor as well. No weapon because I'm not good at using them. Hiking equipment. Buy some tents. Actually, let's get over 20 tents. It's not really so much. It's not meant to represent how many tents you have. It's the quality. You're sort of improving your tent. It's a weird mechanic. It's very abstract, but I think it works. So you have basically 3 levels of tent. You have under 10, which gives... It's better than nothing when you face bad weather. And then you have over 10, you get a boost, and over 20 you get another boost, and the maximum you can have is 30. 30 doesn't give a boost though. Do we get a map? Some pickaxes, of course. Maximum is 10. Why not? Shall we buy a map? I mean, we have plenty of stuff, so I think we will. You can see what I'm talking about with... I'll buy a few more rations. And I'll buy some charges here. 12 charges for each. That should be quite good. Have some money left. I just buy rations. And here you see, now you can see at the bottom left of every other tile, you can see it says M colon and a number, and that 2 squares above me, you can see it says 11 right there. And well, that means that's a maximum amount, I believe, of minerals that there can be. And every time I mine, I believe it falls by 2. Every time you mine? Or is it 1? I don't recall. At least it falls, you see. And how much money you make when you mine depends on how many minerals there are. You know, but basically, imagine that you spend the same amount of time mining. The more minerals there are, you know, in one place, the easier it will be to find them, if you like. And the more you take away, the more difficult it will be to find more. So you will gain less in the same amount of time. That's the idea behind the mechanic. And I think you can discern here that even though some mountains are empty, this mountain here has no minerals in it. Which is... Oh, no, it does not that it doesn't have any, it's just that it's not listed on the map. But you know, there are different amounts. I haven't mined here, but it's only 7, there is 11. It's random, but first it's randomly distributed, 0 to 9. And then, you know, depending on... I think mountains get +2 or +3 minerals. It's probably +2, right? Yeah, +2. Because 9 becomes 11 with +2. But rainforest, for example, this here, we should be able to see something here, but there's nothing here. Because rainforest gets, I think it's -2. So it can only have a maximum of 7. It's -2 or -1, but you know, and some places don't get a plus at all. I believe forest and plain don't get, are not modified, and maybe desert maybe has +1. I don't remember exactly, but it's something like that. Anywho, can scroll a bit more and learn. So here we can learn where we should walk. You can see that it will be very valuable to mine here and there at least. And that should be enough, you know, that's very much. We'll get very much money from mining in these places. And therefore we don't need to waste our time mining in other places where our returns would be less. So this map becomes very useful if you can afford it. I don't have the cash to stay at a hotel. I should have saved a bit. Oh, I can just visit the shrine, I suppose. We have so many rations. Let's spend a few to gain some health back. Right. Let's go. Try to get to the next village here. Another plant. I'm going to ignore it this time because I don't want a chance getting poisoned, and I don't want to, you know, spend too much time here. You can do that. And moving on. Disastrous weather. There are 3 levels of bad weather, by the way. There's harsh, dangerous, and disastrous. This might actually be bad because mountain, you know, the severity of the weather is added to how, you know, the type of terrain, or rather how well adapted you are to the terrain. These guys aren't really well adapted to any kind of terrain. This might even kill us. But I'll make camp, obviously, because that's the best thing I can do. Now, it might be a good time to talk about this mechanic here. I'm going to make a video explaining all this at some point, but I have nothing else to talk about at the moment. So I'm the H in the middle, and I have 4 moves. You know, before I basically have to make camp. Or, you know, be satisfied with where I am. The W here indicates the direction of the wind. The wind comes from this direction, and that's significant. The 35 indicates my level of protection where I am. Now, these yellowish tiles, they are the worst cover. The dark green ones are the medium, and the bright green ones are the best, and they are the most rare. You see. So, as my cover counts all the tiles surrounding me and the one I'm standing on, so 9 tiles all in all. They are sort of added up as my cover, but the ones on the three tiles on the side of the wind direction, they are the most significant. So here, for example, it would behoove me, I think, to move 1 tile to the right, because then I would have my darker green tiles between me and the wind. Or I could move down 2 tiles. There's also one more mechanic here, and that's for every move you make, you get exposed to the elements. So you might sometimes see you moving to a better location but getting the same or less protection from it because you've been exposed to, basically meaning that you get wet and cold, and of course that prevents you from surviving. It makes survival more difficult. It's just like in real life. It's perhaps a tad too realistic. I'm going to. So you see, you can count here. If I moved one to the right, right now I have 4 dark green tiles, but on my left here there are 2 yellow ones and 1 dark green. If I moved one to the right, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dark green tiles within my sphere, and 3 of them will be to my left. So I think that'll be better cover. Only just it rose from 36 to 35 to 36. Oh, that number is probably my level of exposure. I don't actually remember what that is, but I believe that's my exposure. I don't think I can make it better, so I can choose to stay here, and I will. Pressing enter, and we've been taking quite a lot of damage from harsh weather, from bad weather, so I think my health will drop significantly if it won't kill me. Ow, yeah. But it didn't kill me at least. Shall I try to make camp here? Let's see how many rations that cost. I believe making camp in the mountains is quite costly. Let's see. Oh, it was not so bad. That could have been much worse. Probably, making camp is also... Tents help you with getting cover against bad weather, and they help you to make more of... when you make camp, you will regain a bit more health, and you will spend fewer rations if you have tent. So I think we'll just do that a few times. Yes, that's worth it. Moving on, let's save there. Oh joy. Wait, but now I have a fire ring. I have another... I can also heal myself here, actually. I have a fire ring. I can use my fire ring. And right now it has no strength. I have to use some charge to give it strength. You can see the X here, but I can't move it. So to increase the charge, and now the charge is 1, which means I can move 1 tile away from me. If I increase it more, I can move it 2 tiles away, and the area of effect becomes larger. It's still useless because I can't hit any of my foes, but let's say I increase it 2 more. 4 charges. I can hit all those. And for quite a good amount of damage. So 4 times 18, right? That should take them out, actually. Let's see. You see, now they're on fire. They won't take damage until it's their turn, but you see they're on fire. I'll move that way. Oh. They didn't actually... I don't know if the damage is less at the edges of the fireball. Oh dear. Do I want to do that again then? I'll try to use the fire ring once more. I'll do that. Catch one more in the blast. That's like, now I've used 8 charges. And I'll move. You can see my health. I was pointing at the screen. My health is dropping enormously here. And now I'll throw some rations rather. But you see now, several of my foes were dispatched with or of. Oh, what? No. Don't I have rations? Yes, I do. There, please. Yes, tricked you. I made it out, but at a bit of a price, really. It's good I have lots of rations and lots of firing charges. Otherwise I would be toast by now. Healing up by camping here. Moving right. Oh, here we go again. Oh. You see, depending on how these beasts are standing, which is randomized at the beginning, you know, you can make them go in different directions. Well, what I mean is, they will go after you if you are closer than the nearest rations, but otherwise they will go for the rations. So you can steer how they move to some extent. And you know, if depending on their formation, it might be easier or more easier or more difficult to lure most of them away, to some safe place. Now, the algorithm works so that it's most likely that you'll have beasts on most sides of you, but sometimes, like this time, most of them were sort of grouped in one corner. Anyway, we will dig for minerals here, finding quite a bit. Yes, I knew that, didn't I? Digging once more, but I won't waste more time there, because 1, I might get robbed, and 2, I have an even bigger hoard of minerals down there to tap into. So, moving south. Plant. Might as well, actually. Yes, I wasn't even poisoned. Again, don't believe that they're not often poisonous. It's because I'm such a good geologist. My skill in geology is 5, and that's half of the maximum, which is 10. Ooh, how do I have 2 skill points? Is it every 10 wisdom that you get a skill point? It probably is, actually. Yeah. I could level up something. Yeah, but even the first level costs 2 skill points. You see, my skill point is here. And my skill point is your wisdom divided by 10, but I have 24. The extra 4 don't mean anything, so they don't factor in. They will be saved though. I can keep gathering them. So the thing is, do I want to keep leveling other skills, the ones that I have? To grow one of the skills I have even higher requires much more than 2. I think it requires 1 plus the amount of skill level you have. So if I have 4, it will be 50 wisdom points to level to the next, as far as I remember. Or it might be even more. It might be 1 plus the level you're going to times 10. Or, the level you're going to. So level 5, going from 4 to 5 might cost, it's either cost 6. Yes, I think it's 1 plus the one you're going to, because level 1 costs 2. That makes sense. So level 6, going from 4 to 5, would cost you 6 points. It's tricky. Anything like outdoorsman would help me in those bad weather situations, and that might be really useful. Everything is useful. Engineer would also help me because it helps you put up a tent. Physician would help me regain health when I make camp. Fighter would allow me, well, to fight better. If you choose to fight the robbers, you can have a chance if you're a fighter. But I'm not my character is not a fighter inherently. Her strength and flexibility and endurance are low, so. And at least strength and flexibility both factor into fighting. Her flexibility isn't low really, it's just not particularly good. Same with strength, but it's on the low side. Archer is useful against the beasts. If you have fighter and high fighting ability and archery, then you can be really efficient. You can shoot the beasts off with your arrows, and it's much less costly than using magic, but it will take me forever to get to that level. Now, fighter and runner are useful in that they can give me more actions and moves in the beast scenario, but I need at least 3 in one of them for it to give me an extra. Every third level in fighter gives you an extra action. Every third level in runner gives you an extra move. So should I start leveling those? I think fighter would be good. Because it also makes it so that you are more capable in your use of armor. Yeah, I think that would be intelligent. So we'll choose fighter. I mean, you don't have to level now, but I mean, it is useful, so. There we go. Now we've leveled. One level in fighter. Saving after that and moving south. Oh, here we go. So this is another robber, and this is a real strong one. So I'm going to... This is, I think, the second strongest one in the game. Or the third strongest or second strongest? I think it's the second strongest. Yep. And she's really strong. So... thing is, I'm curious to see if my level of illusionism is good enough, along with my intelligence and creativity, to save any of my cash. I don't think so. I think she'll take most of my cash. But that doesn't matter so much because we have a plant, which it's only 900 gold, but it's something. But we're standing on a mountain full of minerals, so we'll be able to get most. We'll be able to get more that cash and more besides back. So let's try tricking her. Yeah, my trickery level is through the roof. I lost a little, but an insignificant amount. That was amazing. So illusionism for the win. It'll get trickier as I level up. I can promise you. And I mean, not level up in the sense get better as a character, but get to the next level of the game, which is the same thing over here. Anyway, let's mine. We don't have many rations, but you can see here we're at 10,000, almost 13,000. We're out of rations, but it doesn't matter because we're in town and we are loaded. Let's just buy 1,000 rations while we're at it. Magical equipment, yes. Those firing charges were fire. Let's have 20 of those. Why not 25 or more? And some healthstone charges. Good. Hiking equipment. I'll buy the last map. A lot of tents. So we've spent almost all of our rations, or all of our equipment. But that doesn't matter, because we are now loaded. We have so much equipment. And now you can see we can see the mineral content for every single tile. And that's useful. So you can determine where it's most valuable to mine. Sweet. This is my most successful play or game in a long while, because it's quite difficult. If you saw the beginning of this game, it was tricky for a while, and had I been unlucky there, it would have gone badly with me. Oh. So what else do I want and or need? Just more magic, I guess. And magic and rations, that's what you want. Oh, better armor, obviously. Let's go south here. Here's a guy who has no idea. This is like one of the weakest enemies. Or robbers. Not the weakest, but I think the level 3 out of 9. So we can trick him, no problem. And we mine here. We move to the right. Oh dear. Let's use our firestone. Let's just use a bunch of focus charges here. This is ridiculous. I can include all of them? Ah! That's insane. So that's what you can do when you're really, really powerful. And here we have a spirit shrine, by the way, one in the wild. It's not really useful to us right now because we don't need to heal, we don't need to get rid of poison, and we have plenty of food, so it's inconsequential. Let's mine some more, shall we? Yes, it takes away 2 every time you mine from the mineral count. It starts at 7, I mined twice. Anyway, back to town, or into this one. And weapons and armor, heavy armor, 3,000. No problem, let's buy that. Is it meaningful to have a weapon? I'll not buy one right now. I'll spend money on restocking in magic. Should we buy a shield chain? I don't see why not. So the shield chain is the third and last magical amulet or trinket, artifact. They're not. It's a Hellstone, a firing, a shield chain. There are plenty. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to buy them everywhere. Obviously, it means you can create a shield, and you can use that. I think you can use it. Well, at least you can use it against the beasts and when you're fighting a robber, if you find yourself in that position, it can be very useful. Because when fighting robbers, which I'll probably have to do at some point, when my level of trickery doesn't stack up anymore, then using magic is the only way that I can really win such a fight. Because yeah, and towards the end at least, it doesn't matter how good I become at fighting and how good armor and weapons I have, because even if I were a fighter character who was strong and agile, there's a point because the enemies just get endlessly more difficult while you reach a cap. So that your last resource is your magic, which you can use an unlimited amount of magic in one go. Allowing you to potentially. So I actually think that this is a character with high intelligence is probably the most viable for getting far in the game, because magic is more powerful the more intelligent you are. Meaning you'll get more magic for less money. And as I said, in the end, it doesn't. Your physical abilities reach a cap, but you can buy an unlimited amount of charges for your various magic items. So as long as you have the money, you can theoretically use an unlimited. The power of your magic can be theoretically unlimited. Very costly though. So once you get really high in the game, where it's not possible to get any stronger, but that's quite far in, this magic, being intelligent is your best course of action. Anywho, ow, that's the strongest enemy in the game. But I'm curious. I don't have any cash, so she might just take all of my rations. She didn't. That's insane. I'm that good. Well, so I guess on this level, I can just fool my enemies into thinking I don't have anything. Suckers, I say. Here we go. I'm going to go with throwing rations this time. Oh dear. Didn't I throw rations there? Now question, do they actually harm me? They do not. That's because I have so much armor. On this level, they're not strong enough to actually harm me with this much armor. They'll also grow stronger though. See, my defense power is 38. And if more than one gangs up on you, for everyone, you know, so these guys will be able to make one attack each, all 5, and for each attack beyond the first, the next one will be stronger and stronger and stronger. So the last one will be stronger, but I guess their power doesn't go above 38. Hence, I could just walk through that. Very handy. So right now I'm nearly invulnerable, except against weather, but then we can just mine to our heart's content here. Ha! I'll mine 2 more mountains here. Looking at our health, they can't hurt me. Mine. Go here. Sure. Let's just continue to the next level. And there you see we gain 2,000. So now we have nearly 13,000, and we're at level 2. Not bad. I'm not sure it's saved there, so I'll save for myself and pick up some more rations to be sure. 1,000 or so. Actually, why not 2,000? Okay, so that spent most of my money buying rations, but it's I think it was worth it. Oh, right, of course, every new area your map is useless, so. Oh, and I don't have pickaxes. I need a bunch of those. And maps. Well, one map to start with. Rather fewer mountains on this one, at least to begin with. Those 2 villages are next to each other there. Yeah, almost much fewer mountains on this one. But of course that means fewer minerals, but on the other hand, these plains here, this yellowish stuff, they're very easy to traverse. So spending fewer rations moving, we can move swiftly through this one. Do I want to though? I wasn't going to stream for long at all, I was just going to stream for a little. And connect with some of my followers, but apparently they don't seem to be joining me. And I want to work on some stuff tonight. I just wanted to connect and say hello and such. Shall we give it a bit longer? I at least need some tea. I'll be brewing some tea. Can't really hear the pot boiling with these on, so I'll have to look out. Careful, it's 9:04. Really have to look out. Oh, we could secure some money in the bank, of course. Deposit. There we go. It's good if you want to avoid getting robbed. It's not much of a point yet, but we have all the resources we need at the moment. So yes, let's just let's see if there's any stuff here. So let's see if these are stronger. Will these be able to harm us? Well, not 3 at once. No, they couldn't. At least not 4 at once. Maybe 5 at once could. I always get when I see stuff like that. I always get nervous that there's a bug, and I'm sure I've checked that before. I seem to remember checking that. I mean, I know I've been killed by those, but you know, every time you make an update, you're always sure you're afraid you might muck something up. Anyway, oh, there's some money there. Not too much. We won't mine more than once. That's 5 of them attacking me at the same time with no effect. Fine. There's a shrine, but I don't need it, so mine a bit. Mine twice. Ooh, more exotic plants. Don't see any reason to pick that actually. It's just dangerous. So having all that armor is so helpful. Obviously, don't need to spend money doing that. I got some money there. Actually, lots of money. So, we'll buy some more rations. Like you do, and some... These charges. Good. Saving the game. Oh, I should have bought some pickaxes. I can actually buy 1 pickaxe. So don't forget, you know. Because you spend 1 pickaxe every time you dig for minerals. We're not in a pinch, so it's not terribly important, but better than nothing. Desert, you know. Dangerous weather here. This might actually harm us. So, oh, I have use item here as an option. That's probably because I have my shield chain. So let's try that. I believe only my shield chain is meaningful. Yeah, what? Is it the health stone? Aha, it's the health stone. Well, I don't really want to use the health stone. I thought I could use the shield chain too. That is weird. Well, maybe I decided it wasn't possible. Anywho. Or wasn't supposed to be possible. I'll have to make camp, I guess. Ooh, just about as good as it gets. If I didn't have to make a move, that would be the best. But here we are. It still took me down to 45 health. So that's definitely some of the most dangerous stuff you can do. There we go. I don't want your plan, thank you. And there's a shrine too. Now where are we? Vis-a-vis stuff on the map. Right. Leisurely stroll through over the plains here. Does this game seem broken right now? Ugh. The plains aren't very threatening when it comes to weather. Oh, hello. Ignore. Shall we mine? No, why not? Get some money there. There's really no point in going to the town. Let's try mining down here as well. You're no threat. Yes. Ignore. And there we are, level 3. That was so easy. I don't know when it will start getting difficult again. Buy some more rations. I don't see. deposit most of my riches here, I think. Oh, that's good to have as a backup. I believe my tea water is about ready to boil, so if you'll excuse me a short while. I have this graphic. Right. Ding. Okay, back with tea. I can sit here for a while longer, see if anyone returns. Can you guys even hear the music? Anyway, so low. I think it's this is where it's usually at, around there. Music volume. That's probably good. Sonny, hello! Welcome to the stream. How are you? The stream's been going on a while. There's not really been anyone here in chat, at least. I was going to make this a short stream, but I'll stay on a bit longer to see if someone else turns up. Okay. Well, thank you for saying hello. That's very nice of you. Bye. Have a very nice evening. I wish you a very good. Oh, that's just water still. Needs to. Needs to sit for a while. Well, I'll go on playing. Maybe I should announce this on Discord, just briefly. I think I'll do that. Hello. Discord. Promotion. I like this music. Wish I could make it a loop. Let's see if that works. Right, back to playing. Where were we? Ridiculously well equipped and heading out to the world. Now, what does this one look like? Decent mix of stuff here. Very well distributed, obviously. Indeed. So, well, let's step out. Do you think these can harm us? I almost want them to be able to hurt me now. But they are not able to yet, still. Oh well. Moving on. Oh, more beasts. More impotent beasts. Even though we are almost completely surrounded here. Oh dear, I am completely surrounded. Ring of Fire, I guess. There you are. Moving on. Hello. Will you be able to take... No. You wouldn't. Let's move on to the mountains and just empty them of money. Oh, not too much money there. It's not much of a challenge at the moment, this. Plenty of rations. Let's just move along. Disastrous weather. Now that's always a tricky thing. Oh yes, wow. Well, let's heal up, shall we? Next village. We have just 2 down there. Let's move on. Dig for some gold. Yes. Hello. Getting so rich. In the forest. I like these backgrounds still. I did a good job making these backgrounds, or at least most of them. Just moving on. See no reason to hang about. So much less dangerous with the weather in the rainforest. I will not be picking any plants. If I knew how efficient this mining business would be, I wouldn't have put so many levels into geology. Luna, hello! If you're wondering, welcome to the stream, first of all. This is just a little sort of chill hangout stream where I play a bit of a game and chat with people and update. And you were curious, so this is one of my games. This is the most sophisticated game I've made, which is called Untrodden Lands, as you can see up here. That Arte Birklaus just means I made it. I think you can see all of that, can't you? Yeah. Oh, maybe not. Wait, let me check OBS. No, you can't see the title. Never mind, that doesn't matter. That does not matter. This is the game, and I have some new news about my game development in general. I'd say positive news. So I thought you might be curious. Oh, Mando streaming again! I tried. I was looking at her channel before, just before streaming myself. But I will maybe be streaming for like another half hour, and then I'm going to be working most of the night, I think. So I'll be in her stream later. Please say hello from me to Mando. I'm going to be making much more interesting games from now on, because I made a decision with regards to so I have this quite useless teapot that when it's full, it's almost impossible to pour a cup of tea without spilling. So every time I do, I have to mop up. It's weird. But anywho, finally tea. Thanks. Tea. Oh, this is going to be so hot though. Hot, but so nice for the throat. I've been sitting here talking to mostly to myself for about an hour. Bit more than an hour. Moving on. Disastrous. Oh, this is not good. I can heal up though. 5, 6. 5 should be enough, right? What? Why? I will tell you about the game. That was the first really close call in the game. Look at my health stat. It's 1. This game is permadeath, by the way. And I'm on level 3. I'll better heal up quickly here. Ah. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Thank you. I'll be over in a little while, like in half an hour. Hopefully she's still streaming then. Yes, are you familiar with the term roguelike when talking about games? By the way, very soon I will release a video on YouTube talking about the development of this game. I've already recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube. I just need to release it. It's just that I release videos on Patreon before I release them on YouTube, you know, like a day or two. So it'll be out soon, and then I'll release another one, like an instructional one, telling you how to play it. And hopefully I'll be able to offer it as a free download on my website soon. Anyway, it's a kind of adventure game. And at the moment, the only goal is to get as far as possible. I'll be moving along here. So you can see here on the screen, you can see maybe I'm in a village right now, but there's a town here at the lower right corner of this map. That's my goal. The goal for every level is to get from the top left to the bottom right of every map. And every map is 10 tiles by 10 tiles. So you see 1/4 of the map at any one given time. At any given time. And it's a tile based. You move over tiles. The different tiles represent different kinds of terrain. So I'm standing in a village, but these are mountains. That's a desert. That's a plain. That's a forest. That's a rainforest. And they in turn affect how much, depending on what kind of species you are. You can choose between 5 different species, and you can choose like male or female for each. They are good at different things. My species, the one I am, it is a Batran, so-called. Actually, you can see down there, just below the game, is a picture of a green girl in the ocean. That's a Batran, a painting I made. Can I make that bigger so you can see it? Yeah, let's hide the window capture. Here, this is a Batran girl. This is the kind of character I'm playing. So they are amphibious. They live partly in the ocean and partly on land. That's why she's just been like collecting clams or something. So in this game, their advantage is that they're terribly intelligent. Their disadvantage is that they are amphibious. They're not really good at moving. They have big feet, like flipper-like feet. You can see her feet are very large. They're really good for swimming, but that doesn't factor into the game because there's no swimming in this game. So the only thing that's good in her case is that she's very intelligent, but with those big feet it's difficult to move on land. So she uses lots of time to move around, and therefore she spends lots of food or rations, I have lots of rations though. And I'm very, very rich. So every stat you have, like intelligence, creativity, strength, flexibility, endurance, all that factors in. The maximum is 20. So you can see my intelligence is high, but my endurance is very low. And so there are various kinds of events. Every time you step on a tile, something happens. Out of 4 different kinds of events, and you have to react to it. And you use your equipment and your skills and such to react to the various events, and also to do things like dig for gold to get more gold, to get better equipment, to hopefully survive. I'm in a bit of a pickle here. You see, there seems to almost be a glitch or a bug with the game that I still in it, because I faced really harsh weather, and I tried to heal before the weather using my health stone, and it didn't work. That should work, because you see the harsh weather, the bad weather made my health go down to 1, even though I have a good tent, level 21 tent, which is really good. There are some skills I can build up to make better use of the tent, such as, here we have a skill list, engineer and outdoorsman. Both those help you make better use of your tent and your surroundings to survive in harsh weather. But you're supposed to be able to use your magical trinkets here, your shield chain, to create like a magical shield around you, and the health stone to heal you. And that didn't work. So I have to look at that. Because if that doesn't work, then at some point, because for every level you progress in the game, everything becomes harsher. The enemies become stronger, the weather becomes worse. Plants become more poisonous and such. So at some point, the weather is just going to kill me, no matter what, if I can't use magic to counter it. Indeed. I basically consider this game done, and I thought that bug was gone. But I might have to check it again. There's one other bug that I know of, but it's so inconsequential. Basically, the other bug I know of means you have to restart the game when you die. As in quit the game and restart the program. But that's not a high priority to fix because it's such an easy thing to do. It's a very small game, so it starts up like this. Anyway, moving on. Here we see a plant. I mean, it looks like a spruce, I know, but it says an exotic looking plant, right? This is very probably poisonous, but I can also sell it for money. So but I have so much money that I won't. Oh, I'll pick it just to see if I get poisoned for your sake as a demonstration. So actually, I can examine it first. I have quite a high level in botany. You think it's very poisonous. As you approach the plant, it sprays you with poison. Yeah, so I get poisoned too. Well, let's pick it. If it's poisonous, it probably means it's quite valuable. Unfortunately, it was not very valuable. That's its value. And I got poisoned to level 8, but that's fine because I'm close to a town where I can heal or get healed. I have magic trinkets to help me heal, so I'm fine. Poison can be really bad otherwise. Anyway, moving into town. We should visit the shrine and heal. If you visit the shrine of the local spirit, they can help you get rid of the poison for an offering. And let's sell the plant in the market. It sells automatically when you go into the market. And let's just leave and go to the next level. I'm now on level 4, won't you believe? Actually, I think I'll level up some skill here. And since I started leveling up fighter, I believe I can level it. Yeah. If I can level up, once I level up once more to level 3, it costs more and more for each level. Then I'll get a really good advantage from it at a certain part of the game. Yeah, this game is all risk and reward. Actually, I level up runner too. And save. So now you can see I'm at the top left corner again. And you can see most of the map is black because I don't know what it looks like. I can scroll to the lower right corner and you can see my goal. I know where that is. This town here. But otherwise, I only see this. I can buy a map in the town. And actually I have lots of money, so you can buy different levels of maps. You can update your map. It costs the same amount, or every level of map costs more than the previous. But if you buy, so the first one lets me just see all the terrain, so I can plan my route, like so. Second level lets me see. You can see maybe these SH symbols appeared. They mean I can now see shrines in the wilderness. Shrines are good for helping you heal and such. There are always shrines in the towns and villages, but there are also some out in the wilderness. Just that they are random. And if I buy another level of map, I can also get information about how the level of mineral deposits. That's a way to earn money at the various places. And you can see, but right now I only have information for half of them, going diagonally like this. If I buy the next level, I can get information for all. And I might as well, because I'm so rich at the moment. I also buy some pickaxes, which will allow me to dig for gold or minerals. Some tent. Upgrading my tent to help me against the storms. And some more rations. Rations are really important, so you need lots of them. And some charges for my magical trinkets. Oh, nice. Yeah, this is actually based, the world is based, or it's the same world as one that exists in my novella, which I've written. You can read it on my website. So that's why there are some illustrations. Well, the girl is not an illustration for the novella, but you can see there's a planet over there as well, at the lower right of my stream. That's an illustration from the novella. That's where the game takes place, on that planet. This painting is also for the novella. I think I told you this stuff last time. I'm not so sure, but I think so. But if so imagine the novella sort of goes on in what would be sort of similar to the 19th century on Earth, but this game happens in like the medieval times on the planet, so a bit of a different time period. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought I wanted to make it. I made this originally actually for playing in stream or on stream. So basically, you would play by writing what you wanted your character to do in the game. And from the beginning, it was super simple. The idea, you basically just you didn't even choose your character. You had one automatically from the beginning, and you had a number of rations, and that was it. And then you had to choose your way through. The only thing your only choice was where to move, and when you moved, you could choose your path based on the terrain, basically. And then you didn't know if you were going to find a shrine or a bandit who would fight you for every step. It would be random. So shrines would heal you, and bandits would harm you, and that's it. Super simple. So people actually played it. Like Sonny and Gabsy played several rounds, and a few others too. But then I just kept building it until it became basically too sophisticated to play. I mean, you still can, if you really want to, you could. It's quite sophisticated. Oh, beginning of the stream. Well, I mean, but that was like summer last year, or beginning of summer last year. So I'm not talking today. That's half a year ago. I built this game mostly during the summer of 2019, sort of adding it from springtime and then over in well into summer. Almost to the end of summer, I kept building on it. It was one I worked mostly on this game then. I had some good news. I'm going to share all this stuff in vlogs as well about game development. I've been starting to make such. But I've decided to. For a while now, I thought I'd do my next game on the Raspberry Pi for Linux. You're a bit of a game developer too, I believe. I'm sorry if I forget things about people between streams, but I seem to remember you said you like that too. So you might get what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. But I thought it might be better to keep working in Windows for a few reasons. And Gabsy helped convince me that I should. So I'm going to make my next game in Windows as well, or keep developing for Windows. I'll still keep learning, working on the Raspberry Pi and assembly language because it's so useful. But I hit a real big bump in the road. So I've been spending some time getting to learn more about the Windows API, how to work with graphics efficiently. Nice. By the way, what kind of game are you working on? Or games? I'm sure you told me. You don't have to tell me again, but I'm really curious. I really am curious, even if I forget. Oh, right, that's true. You told me about updating to Windows 10. So have you installed it yet? Is it done? By the way. So I think I'll stop here for a while. I'm not sure I want to... Do I want to keep playing? I have another game which we can play, a two-player game. Would you like to try? It's a kind of board game. I mean, it's a computer game too. I'll save here. I'll show you what it is. Maybe you'd like to try it out. Let's make it real simple. Oh, oh, why? Okay. Thank you. No, we can't right now. I don't have the right version on this computer. Never mind. Actually, that's good it didn't work. Because the reason it didn't work was the same. It told me was the same one trouble I had. I tried to give these games to a friend of mine. You know, give them to her. She lives here in Copenhagen as well, and put them on her computer so she could play them. But we couldn't, and that I discovered that was most likely because I hadn't produced release versions of them because I'm such a beginner programmer that I only made the debug build. And you can run that fine as long as you have Visual Studio on your computer. But you couldn't run it on hers because she doesn't have Visual Studio. So I tried making a release build of Untrodden Lands, and we've been playing that right now, so it works. But the fact that Steel Stratum, which is the name of my other game, that it doesn't work, that means because I tried to uninstall Visual Studio on this computer. I sort of mucked it up a bit, so a part of it remains. That's why I wasn't sure. But it seems I was successful then. So then I shall offer it really like in the coming, maybe after the weekend, because I have so much work in the weekend. I'll try to offer my games then as free downloads on my website. If the release build works without Visual Studio, that means it's good. Should work on other people's PCs as well. Dooding. So I have never installed Windows 10. It came pre-installed on my two computers. Actually, I'm not sure my desktop if that. When did Windows 10 come out? I could check, of course, which version I have on my desktop here. I know I have it on my laptop, but it's real similar. But let's see here. No, really? What? Info, please. System. Oh, where is that information again? About. Windows 10 Home. Okay. I see. Yeah, so I have Windows 10 on both these. Do I use an engine? No. That's because I really like the idea of programming from scratch. That's to me that's sort of real programming. Sorry, of course it's not true. You can, but maybe because I'm a bit old, but I also like the idea of making something from scratch, knowing, understanding every part. And as I just started programming like 2 years ago, or not even a bit less than 2 years ago. So I'm still learning, and I feel like I learn a lot by building from scratch. So, for example, the things about doing graphics has really been difficult. I haven't studied it much, a little bit. So my two games, they just use bitmaps basically, and blitting bitmaps, if you know what that means. It's kind of graphics processor function that is blitting is a function made for. But basically, it stores. It has a memory equivalent to the frame buffer, and just so you can store an image there and put it on the frame or on the screen really quickly. Anyway, so I feel I learn so much from doing that myself. I really like that and trying to make my own stuff. But so yesterday I was working with how to make graphics faster without using some graphics library like OpenGL or DirectX. I probably will use one of those eventually, but first I would like to try to do as much as I can just with the basic tools. I'm programming in C++, by the way. And so yesterday I learned how to create a blitting an image, you say blitting, it allows you to put one image on screen really quickly. But if you have many little images, you have to sort of blit them one at a time, and that becomes slow. So if you want to fill the screen with many images, like my game here, if we load her again, can you see it now? You should be able to. You see, like every tile there, for example, every tile on the map is an image, an individual image. The picture over on the right, the big one, is also an image, and the character there, and also over on the right, they're also images. So we have like 5 by 5, that's 25, plus the big one, 26, 27, 28 individual. Also, the white background is another one. Actually, the white background is one image, and then you remember the black that was on the map before. Actually, the program first puts a white image all over the screen, all over the window. Then it puts a black image behind these tiles. So if you haven't discovered the entire map, then part of it is black. Then it puts all the tiles of the map bits that you have discovered, or if you have a map. And then it puts the characters on. So I think there's like 30 different blitz going on, like and that's why you see it sort of flickers when I move around or do something. I think you notice that it flickers sometimes. That's because even though blitting one image is fast, doing it several times over, it becomes slow. So the more you have and the smaller, right? That becomes slow. So what I want to do is have a memory buffer that represents the entire screen, the entire screen, and manipulate, calculate what's on the screen first, and then you blit all of it in one go, like. So especially once I start my next game, I want it to be like action oriented. So things going on at all the time. NPCs and enemies moving around, stuff, animation happening, and you moving. And of course, that means several frames per second. So you want it to be fast. I don't know if I can get that fast with just the method I learned yesterday, but it's much faster than this one. So I can decide everything that's on the screen before I go, and then just throw it on the screen in one go. It should be much faster, Basically, that Although it's a bit slower, I think, because the picture is bigger, but it's just one operation instead of 30. I have high hopes. Let's see here. Oh, these, yeah, I like the retro feel. Sprite sheets. I'm not even. I'm sorry. I'm not. What is a sprite sheet specific? I think I know what you mean. I guess a sprite sheet is basically a bitmap. A sprite is a two-dimensional object, a graphical object in a game, usually used for things that can move around. So I guess a sprite sheet is a definition of like the colors. So that's basically a bitmap image, or some, an image file, I guess, or bit of memory. So I'm really, anyway, yesterday I was working many hours to just learn this new method, and finally sort of got the hang of it. I'm really happy. I wanted to share that. That's why I'm online right now. I'm going to keep working on it and learning more about Windows when I end this stream. 2D frame by frame file of animation. Okay. Okay, I see. Okay, so it's a series of pictures, so a series of bitmaps basically. I'm guessing. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Well, I guess you can do that, or my hope is, of course, I want to build a 3D engine eventually. I'm working towards that. Although my next game is probably going to be 2D, just action filled and with animation in it. So to learn that and see if my method works for that. If it doesn't work for that, of course it won't work for 3D. So might as well give up. No, not give up. I mean, then I have to use a graphics library or learn even trickier methods. But yes, I will use sprite sheets for certain. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, before I can't, like, for my next game, I'm going to have to build some tools, like a graphics engine, a new one. This doesn't really have a graphics engine. It just uses like it just uses this one sort of blitting. Sort of similar, but still super different. Oh yeah, I know. I've been studying it a lot, and not studying so much as thinking about it. I try to solve all my problems myself because it's interesting. But yes, the challenges of 3D are much greater than 2D, that's for sure. Where was I? Anyway, yes, I have to build a graphics engine, obviously, to handle animation and such, and it's going to be really interesting. And a new art program. I have one. All this art is made. All these images are made in an art program that I program, but it's a piece of crap. It's prone to crashing, and it only has a few functions. You basically you move a cursor around with the arrow keys and plot sprites pixels one by one. It sucks, but I made this with it, but it took a long time, so I want to make a much better art program, and I will. Yeah, and I'm going to share everything I do. Thank you, by the way, for your interest, and I'm going to share all of it in vlogs. As I said, they're already on their way, some of them, and many more are coming. That's sort of my New Year's resolution this year. I'm going to share much more through vlogs. I basically haven't done vlogs before. Maybe, I think I maybe made 7 over the entirety of 2020. Yeah, because I still haven't learned how to read the mouse. I mean, it's not that I don't think it's hard, especially in Windows. Like reading the keyboard is super easy in Windows. It's basically done. It's once you create. I don't know what program you program in, but if you create a window application in Visual Studio, basically some of the code is already there. Or no, maybe it isn't there, but I copied some code, like the basic, just create a window code from a tutorial, and that was already in it. But I'm not good at using it, so my task for tonight is to become more familiar with, for example, using the mouse and how to make the window more flexible, more dynamic, and understand it better, because I want to. 7 vlogs. Oh, yeah. As I said, that's the entirety for 2019. So few, and most of them are quite meaningless. I felt. No, the ones I've been making now are much better. And I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. Like the last week. Many more are coming. Pre-made code. Yeah, there was if you go to the, I think it's called Microsoft Docs. Like, it's a website that Microsoft keeps, and which contains information how to code. All Windows relevant instructions in like major languages like C and C++ at least, maybe some others too. Maybe mostly the very, very basic ones. But since I code in C++, it's easy to find info. And they had like a tutorial, like get started tutorial, like how do you create a basic window in which to work, and how do you use it. It's not always easy to understand as a beginner, so I had to look. Usually, I have to look at forums, to find other people who questions by people who also didn't understand it. But I'm getting better at understanding the instructions now, reading the documentation on that website. So yeah, I'm going to get more familiarized with it for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, I don't use much pre-made code. That's basically it, just making the basic window, and then from there I went by myself. But I think I've been doing quite a bad job of it, so I want to learn more proper ways of working. I don't know. I haven't really tried. The only other language I've tried is assembler on the Raspberry Pi, and that's more cumbersome. So I can't compare with anything. I think actually the most difficult part so far has been learning the interaction with Windows, what's required. Because just using the basics of C++, I feel like quite intuitive, just how to create calculations, functions. Building classes is a bit more difficult. I'm not good at it. I just know the basics. I have so much to learn, but the basics aren't so difficult. The really difficult thing is reading documentation for how to work with Windows. You make Windows do things for you, and yeah, understanding the instructions on how to do that. That's been the toughest thing. Often, just looking, and it's the same with Linux on the Raspberry Pi, really. So I think maybe once I have a bit more information, and if this works out well, once I've made or am well into making my next game, when I've understood, like built a graphics engine for that, I think I might be making some tutorials on basic games programming in Windows with using C++, because it's been hard to get by. Some of the information is really tough to get by. Some is easy to find, some is difficult. So I think I'll be providing for people who come from the same origin as I do and want to do it the same way, because there are so many ways to code to create programs, right? You can use an engine, you can use an app for making your kind of program, right? Not just an engine, but an app that basically lets you just put puzzle pieces together. Or you can use there are different levels of programming languages on different systems. So there's so many ways to do things, but if you want to do things the way I did them, then my tutorials will be good, right? Okay, yeah, I've heard a lot about Python, but I've seen a little bit of Python code, but I haven't really studied it. So, but basically, yeah, the lower you get, the more abstract, or the more more cumbersome, really. Gets further from the machine code. I actually really liked working in assembler because it's so close to the machine. Yes, it takes a lot of time, and you have to do a lot to make the computer just do a little bit. You have to do a lot. But on the other hand, you get so much insight into what's happening because you have to tell it every single step. That way you learn exactly what it's doing. I really like that, at least from a pedagogical point of view. So if I get a bit further on that, I'll also do for assembler tutorials, I think, because that was harder to find, really. But the thing is, you see, the big snag I hit, the big bump in the road, was when I tried to. I was going to learn how to do graphics on Raspberry Pi using assembler, and basically there are two ways I found. One was using an external library, and I don't like to do. I don't want to do that if it's not necessary. And I feel if I'm going to use an external library anyway, then why don't I just do a little bit of it? I'll explain what my decision is later. The other way is to program bare metal. That means make a program that runs without an operating system. And that really sounds interesting, and I'm probably going to try that at some point, but not right now. Not right now, because it's a big subject. You need to learn a lot to do that. I've read a little bit about it, and it's doable, but also tricky. So I'll wait with that for a bit. And the other way, using an external library, and it's also been tricky to find how to work with Linux through assembler. On the other hand, almost all Linux documentation is in C. So my idea is, well, I'm going to learn C. Might as well. It's good to know different languages, right? I'm going to learn C, and then I'm going to set up the basic, like the frame buffer in C, and all the, set up the interaction with Linux through C, and then attach my assembler code to that, which is really the normal way to do it. But I'm going to relegate that to a side project. I thought that was going to be my main programming coding project for the time. But I think that's quite big side project, and then I'm going to keep working. My main development is going to go on in Windows through C++ and Visual Studio, because I know so much there, comparatively speaking. So it's convenient, and that way I can actually produce something, and also that I can also make more vlogs, make the channel more interesting for anyone who's following me. I think the C family, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, if I could choose, I mean, I think it would be useful to learn a more different language. Yeah, maybe like Python or Java. I think Java or JavaScript, because I hear that's good I hear that's useful with internet, but like making apps that work on the internet. But hey, but since C is so common, especially often when you see documentation for any basic thing like interaction with operating systems or basic functions, it's mostly C, at least all that I found. and almost as likely C++. But for example, for Linux, it's C. I don't know if you know what a system call is. It's also called a software interrupt. If you want to know about them, the entire documentation for Linux is written in C. So finding examples for assembler was so difficult. I spent days scouring the internet and like buying books off of Amazon. Almost every book I could find that just mentioned software interrupts, about in assembly language for Linux, and just, oh, do they have the stuff I want to? Nope. I bought like two books, I think, that were almost useless, quite cheaply, happily. So that's another good reason to make some tutorials once I figure things out, because some things are sorely lacking. On the other hand, actually, Bare Metal Program has more tutorials for it, for assembler language. But again, it's a much bigger project. Have you tried Java? What languages have you, or do you know? Have you studied? Yeah, I like books better too. Most of them I have on like Kindle, Amazon Kindle, but I really prefer having physical books for sure. So it's just that, when you're sitting there and you want to solve a problem quickly and you're frantically looking for information, there's no way I'm going to wait a week until someone, until they send me a book and not even knowing if the information's in it. So sometimes I actually bought a book online and I thought, oh, this is useful. And then I bought the physical copy as well. Yeah. I just heard that Java is good. I'm going to look into it. Maybe I'll learn it at some point, maybe not. I think, for writing, I guess you can do it in C or C++ too, writing the network code. Because eventually I want my games to be able to, you play a bit of multiplayer online. I did have a look at a few, like Nodays. What is Nodays? I've never heard that name before. Nodays. Never ever. I've heard lots of names. Like I've heard about lots of languages. Sometimes just the name, but I never heard of that one. Is it old or new, or where is it from? Do you know that? I mean, I guess eventually, as you solve problems, you learn a bit about new languages. I mean, now I have a bit of C++, a little bit of assembler, starting to study C in soon, probably. And I guess I'll probably build from there if I find it interesting. Maybe, what if you start working in Unity? I did actually, like 3 years ago, I started doing a Unity tutorial, Unity engine. I didn't really like working in an engine, pre-made engine like that. I wanted to build my own, but that means I've written a tiny bit of code in C#. So I might, but who knows? Maybe I will work in Unity eventually if I want to make a really big game. You never know. JavaScript code? No, I mean, I know what JavaScript is, but I don't know. Never mind. Anyway, is Mando still streaming? Because I think I'll head over there if she is. Oh, you don't like the... what kind of engine do you use? Of course I can. Is she streaming on YouTube or Twitch, by the way? I can, of course, check for myself. Well, maybe it gets easier if I stop streaming and you can focus on one. Who knows? Um, oh, she's streaming on Twitch. Godot. I've heard of this Godot, but I don't know much about it at all. I know basically nothing. You know what? Um, I'm gonna go hang out in Mando's stream because I also want to start working, as I said. Um, but it's been really nice hanging out here. Where is my OBS? There's OBS. Hello. Really nice. Thank you so much for hanging out here and chatting. I'll be chatting this weekend. I'll be working 12-hour shifts at the hospital. I'm a nurse, if you don't know. So I won't be streaming until at the earliest Tuesday again. I will be releasing some vlogs though that were pre-recorded. So maybe I'll see you next week, or I hope you'll check out my vlogs if you want to know, especially the one coming up on the development of this game. It's like half an hour. It's not all that. I do talk about my RNG in it. It might be interesting for you. We could discuss that sometime. Could be interesting. So thanks, and yeah, see you over there. And otherwise, have a good evening. Great evening. Bye.